Hey YouTube, coming at you with the viewer submitted team from Noodleman, who in the write-up says, triple normal team, I would like feedback to see how I can improve. I watch all your videos and feel like I am good at knowing what to do when I watch, but make mistakes when I play. The highest I've ever gotten is 2700 elo. Also, there's one game where I think the game screwed me a little. Let me know your thoughts. Okay, so triple normal team, I already talked about how strong normal is in this meta. There's really no fighters, one or two fighters. Maybe we'll see more Blazikins if people start running more normal teams, but otherwise, normal is very, very safe in the meta. Furret's very strong. And then you have two Pokemon that were strong previous seasons before rollout got nerfed. I still think they probably have play in this meta, so it's probably still decent. Lickilicky and BIBAREL. So let's take a look and see how it goes. You know, your V2 on the front, you are V2 grass and electric. Is there any electric in this meta? But grass for sure, so probably leave for that. But otherwise, you're probably safe to stay in with a lot here. Mud Boys. Mud Boys are a weird one because rollout is resisted. So they are going to get off a sludge probably because Hydro would be resisted. Okay, well, that's the thing with Hydro. Hydro is such a good move, and Shadow Barrel, I guess, is still a bit glassy, so the Hydro did over 50% damage. Getting to a second one here, second Surf here, so this already grabbed one shield, does not grab the second, but that's okay. CMP, we take that. I think you just come in with Furret and Sucker Punch down. So here comes Furret, gonna get that Sucker Punch down. They give up switch into Steelix, which is not bad. We have Brick Break, which will be super effective. Not a hard-hitting move. And they shield early, which is kind of shocking. And you're going to match right back here. It's just a Psycho Fangs. I'm kind of surprised about that shield. But I guess it is a Shadow Steelix, and the moves are adding, the Thunder Fangs are adding up. But the thing with Shadow Steelix, the thing with Steelix in general is you don't really need to worry about its charge moves a ton most of the time. Like Psycho Fangs, Break and Swipe. Even Crunch, not bad, not great. I would have banked that energy. I feel like Swift, especially that you're going to get out here anyways. So Gligar, I would have banked that energy, come in with Lickilicky and tried to roll out down what was left of the Swampert, and then just get ahead on energy. Are we throwing a Earthquake into a Flyer here? My man. So, yeah. Okay. Okay. So, stop. Okay. So, two things here. One is, so there's the basic stuff that you need to know, and then there's like the, I'd say, more advanced stuff. The basic stuff is you got to know your typings. So, Earthquake, Ground is resisted by Flying. And in fact, I don't even play the main series games, but I played like Pokemon Red and Gold, and I know that like Earthquake or Ground type moves don't even register on the flying Pokemon in the main series games. So like it's because the Levitate doesn't allow them to take Ground type moves. So yeah, Earthquake very resisted. Don't throw Earthquake against a Flyer. And then banking energy there, like the whole Steelix matchup I didn't like, and then the banking the energy, and when you threw the energy, like I think like shielding the Steelix early, knowing that it has Psychic Fangs, you have to let the first one go, then you can shield up the second one. If you think you're getting too low, then you can reset on Lickilicky. I know Lickilicky only has rollout and body slams, that makes it a bit trickier, but just that, and then throwing blindly sort of on the Swampert when that probably could have been more valuable on Lickilicky, and they already lowered your defense twice, so you probably want to reset. So just some things like that you probably want to play different next time. Okay, Abomasnow, you kind of got the best of both there. Your opponent let you do the super effective rollouts, and then as you're getting to the resisted Surf, they decide to let you catch on tried to let you throw it on Quagsire, which they came in with. So throwing the Surf on the Quagsire, got one shield there. They're going to get to a move. It's a Water Gun. So Water Gun is resisted because you are water. Aqua Tail is resisted because you are water. Which means you're going to get to another move. And you've already grabbed one shield, so this is looking like a pretty good matchup here. Just stay in this one, roll it, licky with rollout, and bulky enough to just take some moves here. You could shield Bomb Stone, does hit hard, but I assume it could be an energy ball, but no, just a weather ball. Yeah, here comes the second move though. Again, you can live. Licky's very tanky. Gonna get off this body slam onto a Clodsire, so nice catch. Rollout is resisted. You do have Earthquake, but just gonna come in here with energy advantage. Please go. Okay, this is a weird. I still think Swift is a better move. So Brick Break is resisted on the poison. But I understand that Brick Break lowers the defense. So then when you lower the defense, the Sucker Punches add up more, and then the Swift will add up more. So there's the argument that maybe the first Brick Break is correct. I still don't know about that for sure. I personally would just go Swift, but I can't just full out dismiss that. Catching the Abomasnow move on Licky. Going for the Brick Break, hoping to lower its defense here that you can Sucker Punch down. But I still think, maybe. I don't think a Weather Ball takes you out. And you can Sucker Punch down. Ooh, but they have something left too. Oh, but you have a move. Nice. So getting the Swift off to take out what is left of the Clodsire. Ninetales. Haven't seen those yet. BIBAREL's obviously a water Pokemon, and it has Rollout, it has Surf, and they're staying in for some reason. I don't know what they're doing. Why would you stay in with a Ninetales? It seems like a Weather Ball. So you grabbed one shield on your Surf. Oh no, Psyshock. Okay. Yeah, I guess the Ember hits better now. So got one shield. Psyshock. If there are any Psyshock, I'd be very surprised if the other move isn't Weather Ball. Like, I'd be very surprised if it was an Overheat. That would be quite the moveset. Ninetales putting in some work here with those Psyshocks. Taking the Licky down to the yellow. So took switch and you got a shield advantage, but definitely did a lot of damage there. Credilli is with Bullet Seed, so it charges faster, which means they're going to get to the Rock Tomb first. So now you have a decision to make. Do you just bank that energy? Yeah, not wanting to throw a lowered attack Rock Tomb. Credilli with Bullet Seed. I know Acid is the recommended moveset, and I understand how it plays better, but I kind of think Bullet Seed is still better on this thing, given how much just quicker you get to the charge moves and what those charge moves do to your opponents. Because Grass Knot and Rock Tomb are both good moves, right? So, okay. Grab the one shield. Again, these Pokemon are shielding too early against Furret. Even like, oh no. Was that the one that you think the game screwed you on? Because I think that was just like a misclick. Okay, so for those of you who are just listening, tried to snipe with Licky, ended up throwing a fast move, and then got incinerated down because of that, instead of getting the double super effective Earthquake off that would have one-shot. Yeah, I can't really tell where you clicked versus didn't click, but that is brutal. An Earthquake would have taken this out, and now we just got taken out. Credilli? So, I mean, yeah, I'm just going to get into the safe swap here. It is an Acid. So going to get off this Brick Break. Again, doesn't do, it's super effective, but does like almost nothing. But the Sucker Punches will start adding up. Going to shield up the potential Rock Tomb here. And they eventually get out into Gligar. So we're going to have to start throwing some Swifts here. But the attack is lowered, so even if we get off some Swifts, that's not going to do as much damage as you would want it to in the mid game here. So they are farming up a ton. Non-Shadow, I don't think Aerial Ace takes out from this range, so I think they have to throw. No, okay, so they do go Aerial Ace, but they may be able to farm. Yeah, okay. Doesn't take out, but only one more Fury Cutter to take you out. This thing's got energy, so I would just come and eat it on Licky. Yeah, I think you had to. I think this thing had too much energy that you just had to eat it on the bulky Pokemon with Yeah, bulk your Pokemon. You still have health on Bibarel, but so taking it, they still have 2 shields. Body Slam is resisted. Maybe you were hoping that they would shield because, okay, they want to get a Rock Tomb off, and they do shield. No, you're just on the Body Slam second time, so you just don't know. Body Slam is a normal typing, is resisted by Rock, as you just saw there. Getting to the third one, but yeah, again, resisted. Probably won't take out. But do grab the second shield. And now you have to shield this because you came in here. It is just a Rock Tomb. You're going to have to dump energy here, else they're going to take you out. So getting off that Surf, this will take out. What's in the back? Stunfisk. Electric Thundershock Stunfisk. Surf is super effective. Now it's a... I was going to say it's a race, but you may be taken out in one move here. Discharge probably takes you out from this range. Shadow Water. Yeah, does take you out. You're not going to get to another move. Stunfisk taking it out there. So I do have... I'll do a couple more battles, and then I do have some thoughts about why you're at 2,700. I've got... Yeah, I won't make it too harsh, but I've got some thoughts as to why you're still in the 2,700 range and can't push. Because there's a few things in these plays that I'm just like, ooh, this is very rookie-ish. Okay. Did grab a shield. Did get off a second Surf to chip to the yellow. They tried to undercharge, so getting out into Furret. Probably have an Earth Power. Like, I would respect this Earth Power. Because they're only going to get one move, so they're probably throwing it. Okay, fine. I don't care. That's fine. The shield was right there because... I guess they can't get to 2 Body Slams, but I think just shielding a potential Earth Power is correct. Nope, timing's off there. You just went 5, which means you just let the Talonflame get the full Incinerate through, which is going to be very tricky here. There you go. 2 is correct. So getting off this Swift. So this would be a sort of advanced play, what I'm just about to tell you here. So you are at you're two Sucker Punches short of a Swift and Brick Break. The Incinerate is a 5-turn move, so it registers like on 4. Plus, to get to the Sucker Punch is 2-4 to get to the Swift, plus to activate the charge move is 5. The Incinerate's always going to take you out before. The Incinerate's not going to register till 4. So an advanced move here would be throw 1 Sucker Punch, which is a 2-turn move, and then go into something like Bibarel and take the Incinerate damage on that Pokemon. That is how you can potentially play this different, as opposed to what you did here is you just stayed in and just got taken out by the full Incinerate there, and then you go down with a full energy worth of move, and now you're coming in here, they're low with energy, you just let this go. This is just a sacrifice. Lickilicky we'll have to try and sweep at the ending. They boosted their attack. Yeah, I think it's worth the shield here. Do roll out down. Well, they have the Gastrodon with not a lot left, and whatever's in the back here, what is in the back is Credulity. So going for the Earthquake. Hope it chips to 50% because they're about to... No, it does not even do 50% because they're about to lower your attack here. So if you... They may crit. Oh, yeah, you got to... Okay, that's another one there. You have to be aware that catch was coming. The question you should be asking yourself is... You just... Earthquake takes 15 to get to. And you just got to a second one. So you essentially got like 30 turns with the moves. Like, why are they not throwing the move? They're not throwing the move because they're counting your moves and timing this catch, because you've shown that you throw most of the time. Sometimes, not most of the time, but sometimes right on. And this is one of those scenarios where you need to get it off. So this is sort of like one of those easier catches for your opponent. And now they'll have probably like almost 2 moves coming out of this to take you out. one Rock Tomb, and here comes the second move. Yeah. So kind of heads up by your opponent there, but also something that you kind of need to register the longer you've been playing. Okay, Fire Pokemon, good lead. Incinerate user, they are staying in. Interesting. So I guess this is going to be a CMP because that was 15 for both. So getting to the surf, do CMP. I honestly have no idea what these moves are. So shielding up, it is a crunch. Yeah, a good shield. I figured that it had a move that maybe registers, and that was good fast move timing. So you do have like some things, like that was 9 versus 10. So that's exactly what you want. I mean, if you want to keep switch, you can. If you don't want to, it's okay too. Yeah, like it doesn't matter too much. Come licky. Going to shield this one up though. Interesting. I mean, you will have a ton of energy coming out. So I'll have a ton of energy coming out of this matchup for Gastrodon. See how much it does. If it does like 40%, okay, if it does 50%, I think it's just worth kind of staying and getting to the next Earthquake because you're close enough and it's going to take a while to get to this Earth Power. I think that's right. If it was shorter and this next Earthquake wouldn't take out, I think you switch to, I think you would have had to switch to Furret, but they are Talonflame in the back, ABA Fire. So that's part of the reason they're staying in. Gonna come in here and kind of force them to throw a Brave Bird. Fly's not gonna, I don't even know if a Brave Bird takes out, quite honestly, from this range. Yeah, Flame Charge definitely does not. So they needed a Brave Bird there. And even that may have left you with a few HP. So take them out there. We'll do one more. I mean, there's 5 minutes of battles left, but let's just watch one more and then I'll give you what my thoughts are. So Bullet Seed, Credilli, get into your safe swap. Don't throw a bullet. Again, I still don't think this is the right move. I understand the argument that if you lower their defense, Sucker Punches are going to add up much more, and then the Swift may even take out from this range. And you did just shield a Swift, so that's, sorry, not Swift, a Dig, so that's a pretty good shield there. And you'll now be able to Sucker Punch down. I think this is just Air Release. Yeah, so you live. You do flip it in the 1-2 there. Dunsparce comes in. So get a move off there. Try and get to the Swift. Great. This will be a good chip. They are loaded, but I think at this point you just sacrifice your BIBAREL. Because it has a Credilli in the front, right? So you can't really... it is a Bullet Seed here. So Bullet Seed will charge faster. I would just let this go, assuming they're just going to Rock Tomb you first. Let's get to at least one Earthquake here. You hope you can get to 2. Even if they lower your attack once, it'll put them in Surf range if you get this next Earthquake off. I would watch for a catch because they're probably going to try and keep this alive. They should have. I mean, this will live. I like your play because you need to potentially reset in the next time around. So that's heads up. So you definitely have moments they're going to snipe. That's fine. Although this thing is pretty loaded, so I wouldn't go too much extra moves here. I'd probably throw... Yeah, you got to be aware. Come on, man. You got to be aware. Okay, there's like 5 things now that I've seen in this. And it's just stuff like that where it's just like, oh, you need to be... I think you like... lack certain things. Okay, so let's start with the basics. Typings. Again, there's like, I think there's like 4 or 5 levels of things that I could point out here, and each will progress you more. So the basic thing is, I don't care if you're in the 3,000 range, I don't care if you're in the 2,000 range, you need to know typings. And this is coming from someone who knows, like, after 7 years of playing this game, or how long GBL has been out for, who knows like 95% of typings, but not all of them. But like I pretty much know most of them at this point. You got to know typings. Throwing a double resisted Earthquake into a flyer is rough. Again, I still don't think the Brick Break is the right move into those flyers and into the Clodsire there. but I can understand the potential argument that lowering the defense enough offsets with the sucker punch damage and the swift. So those I'm a little more like, I can see the argument there, as opposed to just like the earthquake into a flyer is just not acceptable. That's the first thing. The second thing is your timing was good. Like 50% of the time it's good, 50% of the time it was like questionable. You like sometimes you did like 9 versus 10, and stuff like that. And then other times you just like threw like right on CMP against a Talonflame and let them get the full incinerate through. So you don't need to be like as optimal as you want to be, but you need to have some optimization there. In terms of some of the matchups that I'm seeing, like the Steelix one, like is in my brain. The one where you like, that whole matchup where you're like staying with Steelix and then threw blindly into Swampert, even though it had like no health, and then just got taken out in the back there. There's certain like, it's interesting because I'm trying to say like I don't want to say there's a right way to play GBL, but if you watch all like the top players, there is a sort of right way to play certain matchups and when to like bank energy and when to make switches and when to over farm and when to do like there's a lot of things that the top players will do. And you know what, I know a lot of people don't play pick 6 show 6 pick 3 that they do in the Pokemon regionals. I would like suggest go watching one of the regionals, because the play style of all the top battlers is very, very similar. You know all the matchups. You know which Pokemon beats what. You know when to chip and dip. You know when to stay in and stay in. You know when to overfarm. You know how much to overfarm. There's so many things that the top players do that are just consistent across the board. And it really is one of those things like there's some players who are just so good, like Axon and Rise and the people who've won like multiple regionals that just do like, for the most part, they do all the stuff that all the top players can do, but they do it like consistently. Right? They're very consistent in how they play these matchups out. So I think you can like almost watch them play and just look for those things. Like look for how much they overfarm. Look for like the timing of their throws. Look for how they're playing certain matchups. If they have like a same type lead, like a balanced lead or a bad lead or a good lead, and one swaps out, and like what happens. Like just watch how they play through that, because I think you guys will pick up some from there. Like I try to explain like what I do, but I think it would be like good to just kind of watch a couple of the top players to see how they play some of those matchups. Again, more of the advanced stuff like that Talonflame Furret matchup there, throwing one sucker punch and then getting that energy and banking it and moving it into another Pokemon to catch. Like that's way more advanced. That's basically expert/legend stuff right there. And other thing I want to point out, what you said here is, I watch all your videos and feel like I am good at knowing what to do when I watch, but make mistakes when I play. And that's very interesting to me, because when I watch, like if I'm being honest, when you said you got to 2,700, with the mistakes that were made in these matchups, I don't think you're a 2,700 player. I think you're like a 2,500 player, quite honestly. Because my personal belief, and this is just my belief, take it whether you want to take it or not. I think that if you make it to expert, like 2,750, you can make it to legend. There's really not a lot that keeps people out from expert to legend, except for a couple things, like a little bit of luck and a little bit of consistency. And I think when you say like, I know the moves, I know what to do when I watch people's battles and your battles versus when I'm playing, how do I, is it like a mind, is it like a mental thing? Is it, I'm trying to think of like what the best way to, again, but this is the type of thing that really separates that separates the experts and legends and versus honestly 2700 below is the consistency in your gameplay. Like I again, yeah, I mean, you're probably gonna be like, you say your game is all over the place. It is like, but for the most part, in if I found a team that I like and I'm strong with, I don't go 0-5 and 1-4. At worst, I go 2-3. And then that like legend run last season stuff. That's what happens, right? You get the 5-0s, you get the 4-1s, maybe some 3-2s. But when you're losing at 2-3 because your play is consistent enough in the right play to not go 0-5 and 1-4. And the 0-5s and 1-4s are what kill your progression towards legend. So you need some more consistency. And I don't know, again, so there's things you need to work on, typings, understanding the matchups, when to bank energy, when to switch, when all that stuff. And I think you get that through practice. I think you get that through watching videos. But then it's like being able to like know, like, okay, I know what this matchup is. I know what I should be doing. And then doing it consistently is what takes you to the next level. So I hope that all that verbal diarrhea made sense there. So anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.